Good afternoon, everyone. I am going to do a brief upload right now. If you are not subscribed or haven't followed this channel yet, please do so. We will go live on this case later today, but I am currently working and want to bring you guys this devastating, horrific case and show you guys exactly what I was talking about earlier today. If you guys caught that live stream, and I was talking about there needs to be some type of system in place where red flags start going up if kids start missing their doctor's appointments, start missing school, and things like that, so that these children don't end up dead or in abusive type situations. And this case just popped up on my timeline while I was scrolling through today, and it's horrific. Absolutely horrific. Let me just tell you, brace yourselves. So, this is going on right now in Michigan. In Oakland County, Michigan, February 16th, this press release was put out, and it says a Pontiac mother who abandoned her three children for years, not a month, not a week, for years, you guys, leaving them alone in absolute squalor to survive only on weekly drop offs of prepared food, was arrested Friday by the Oakland County Sheriff's Office deputies. The 34-year-old mother was who was not being identified. She has now been outed all over social media as she shares the same name as one of her children. And so please be respectful to this child and to the children that are in this situation. Is absolutely devastating what took place and what they went through. And so it says she is being held in the Oakland County Jail. Detectives are expected to turn the case over to prosecutors for review in the next few days. The sheriff said the conditions in which the children were forced to survive is unconscionable. Throughout my extensive career in this field, I have never encountered a scenario as dire and as prolonged as this one, involving abandonment, neglect, and abuse of the highest order. This situation would be deemed deplorable and intolerable for an animal and utterly unacceptable for three children. They have been deprived of any interaction with their mother and have not had an education for years. The far reaching consequences of this abuse must be acknowledged. We look forward to presenting this case to the prosecutor and ensuring this mother faces the consequences of her actions. The children, a 15-year-old boy and his two sisters, ages 12 and 13, have been placed in custody of a relative by Child Protective Services. I am raising my eyebrows at that because where has this relative been for the last 5 years? And we have seen people cut their family off and things like that. But will there be follow up care to make sure that these children are being properly taken care of and that they are in a mentally healthy place, that they are going to get the counseling services that they need and things like that? I have huge, huge concerns about that in every single case that we follow. It says deputies were called to a home on the 600 block of Lydia Lane on Friday afternoon to perform a welfare check on the occupants of the home. The landlord had contacted deputies after he had not heard from the mother since December. Rent was last paid in October. He was concerned that something may have happened. Upon their arrival, deputies found the home in deplorable shape. Garbage was piled as high as 4 feet in some rooms. Mold and human waste was found throughout, with the toilet overflowing and feces in the bathtub. Deputies checked the residence for occupants and found the boy and his sisters. The girls had locked themselves in the bathroom but opened the door when asked. The boy said that he and his sisters have lived alone in the home as his mother had abandoned them in 2020 or 2021. That means he would have been 10 years old with a 8 and a 7-year-old sister whenever they were abandoned by this mom. Talk about trash. Talk about a waste of air. Like, how can someone do this to their children? It absolutely is mind-blowing to me. They survived on prepared food that their mother or a stranger would leave on the front porch each week. Who is the stranger? And so this makes me question, what type of situations was happening in her life that she has this stranger who is also aware that she has her children just alone inside of this apartment. The mother did not leave toilet paper or any personal hygiene items. The mother had contact with the boy, but it appeared she had not seen the girls in years. The scene was processed by an evidence technician wearing a hazmat suit. The children had not attended school since their abandonment, passing the time watching television or playing games. It appeared that the girls had not been outside of the home for several years. The boys slept on a mattress on the floor while the girls slept on pizza boxes. Neighbors told deputies that they were unaware that the children lived in the home and never saw them outside. They did see the mother drop things off at the home each month. The children were taken to the hospital for an evaluation. They were wearing soiled clothing, their hair was matted, and their toenails were several inches long, making it difficult to walk. It appeared the children were unfamiliar with how to use personal hygiene items or know how to flush a toilet. The mother was found at another location and arrested without incident. She said the father of the children was not involved in their life. A lot of people are concerned because we have seen that she has a fourth child as well. That fourth child is safe and was with their father at the time of this. But it's disturbing to me that these other three children have not had anyone reach out or try to figure out what's going on with them in all of this time. So let me show you guys this mom. This is her. This is her Facebook page. This is He Say Kells on Facebook. And I'm just going to refer to her as He Say Kells because, again, she is sharing the name of one of her children. And so I won't necessarily put that out there right this second. If it starts showing up in the news articles, absolutely. Like I said, you're gonna see it all over Facebook. People are talking about it, but out of respect, I'm going to leave it out right now. So this is her free food giveaway, probably taking this free food to her children. I want to know who she's with in this video. Who is she with?
Yes.
You want both of them out?
I'm gonna grab one of these,
One
Jim.
in your trunk?
Yeah, take that go to Murphy.
All right, good people. I will
You want to
catch y'all
split one of them?
Tuesday.
Yeah.
My feet are
Say.
Who else would know? Who else knew? This mom, she looks well taken care of in these photos, right? She looks well taken care of. She's fine. Who's this guy? How's he involved? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just like scrolling through her social media, but it's absolutely appalling to me that there's at least one other person who knew that these children were just abandoned in this home, and yet here she is. She don't look abandoned. She don't look starved. She don't look like she has any issues having personal hygiene items. It's upsetting. It's absolutely upsetting. So here is the news interview that the police chief did with the news, and it's about 5 minutes long. We're going to go ahead and watch that, and then, like I said, I'm going to do a live stream on this at a later time and dive into every single detail and really pull it apart out. Also, let me show you guys the picture of the home. Sorry about that. This is some of the areas that the children were in. The bathroom that the girls were hiding in. It's absolutely devastating. Absolutely devastating. Figure they were 7, 8 years old, 10 years old whenever they were completely abandoned by their mom. She hasn't even seen the girls. How can you just go that long without ever laying eyes on your children? The officer said that their nails were so long they could barely walk because their toenails were so long. So, like I said, though, subscribe if you guys have not already. Hit that like button and let's watch this interview and then we will get it wrapped up.
What did you find? Obviously, very, very disturbing details.
Yeah, terrible, terrible situation. I mean, one that's really hard to, quite frankly,
Me audio boost it. Sorry. Should have already thought ahead and just realized that it was going to be on the quieter side. They always are.
wrap your head around. And I've been in this business a very long time. You know, we responded to the home of a welfare check. We're actually checking on what was supposed to be the welfare of a woman who is the rentor. The landlord said he hadn't seen her for some time. And I think, as our detectives mentioned, it hadn't paid her rent going back to October. So our deputies responded there and found something far, far worse with 3 kids living in a situation that goes beyond the word of absolutely disturbing.
Yeah, it sounds like the house was in deplorable conditions. I was reading that it said the kids didn't know how to flush a toilet. Did the kids have any developmental delays or anything like that?
Well, that's going to be obviously a very long process to determine, how they are, not just physically, but mentally, and what age level they are at in terms of educational development, having not been anywhere near a school for probably at least 3 years. That's going to be a very long process to figure this all out. Not just how they are, both mentally and physically, but how did this ever happen to have these kids fall through the cracks on so many levels with relatives, the community, and with schools, that no one brought this to our attention until the landlord.
I was just going to ask that in regards to school. We know truancy and people usually are contacted, but also do we know if these kids were actually enrolled in school or, did the mother pull them out?
Yeah, at one point they were in Pontiac schools. Preliminary information is they received a records request from another school in Pontiac, but that's at this point that's all we have. So we're going to dig deeper into that and figure out exactly how they fell through the crack there as well.
How many children, guys, throughout our country are we going to see fall through the cracks? So tired of it. There has to be some type of red flags that go up whenever children don't ever show up to school at the new school that they're supposed to be registered in, or they don't. Where's their doctor's offices? Who was in charge of their care as they were growing to know, what type of appointments and things like that they should have had? I mean, there are appointments that happen uh, around third grade, around fifth grade, around eighth grade. There's certain years that you have to have medical things going on and shots and things like that. Why was there no signs that these children were not being cared for? It's so frustrating. I'm so tired of all these children, and thank God these ones are still alive.
And then we looked up the address and it looks like Lydia Lane. It doesn't look like a bad neighborhood. In fact, we saw it didn't seem too far from the sheriff's office. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if one thing I've learned in this business is, very bad things can happen anywhere. And so, that's what we have here. I mean, if you think about it, it kind of reminds me of the, commercials you see where animals are living in very deplorable conditions. Well, kind of take that times 10. And that's what the kids were living in for years.
And they never once, it sounds like the girls didn't come outside either.
No.
Okay. How do they react to your deputies going in there then?
Well, initially they were locked in the bathroom and, they were hiding. So, they haven't had much human contact or adult contact for sure for years. So, our deputies obviously were treating them with kit gloves and we're trying to make them feel safe and secure in that moment and got them help immediately, took them to the hospital.
And when and where was the mother arrested?
She was living elsewhere in Pontiac, so they were able to locate her and take her into custody.
Did she say anything when she was taken into custody?
I don't know what kind of discussions our detectives have had with her at this point. We just, it's going to be a long investigative process to figure all of this out, how it happened in the first place, and all of those things will come into focus more clearly over the days ahead.
And then it sounds like the kids are now in custody or at place with a family member. Was there any other family members that they were in contact with or knew about this? I can't imagine, someone would let the kids live like that.
Yeah, so far we don't have any information that any other relatives knew this was going on. Obviously, we now have CPS, Child Protective Services, are involved. So that's going to be part of the ongoing process.
And then let me just make sure. And oh, any criminal or drug abuse in the mother's history? I don't know how far you've gotten.
I haven't looked that deep yet.
And no neighbors said they didn't hear or know anything either.
Yeah, from the neighbors so far, we haven't, heard that anybody knew any of this was going on. In fact, some of the preliminary contacts were they had no idea there were kids in that. So
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
I've seen, child neglect and other situations where they're living in bad places, but not to this level and not for this extended duration. I mean, this is years.
And just horrific.
Horrific. I mean, trash piled 3 and 4 feet high, feces everywhere. I mean, the sink and the bathtub were basically unusable because so much trash and feces in it. No personal hygiene for an extended period of time. I'm not sure that they even know how to use a toothbrush or were given toilet paper. So it's hard to wrap your head around.
Hard to wrap your head around. And so we're going to do a deep dive later into mom's history and kind of look at what the heck could have happened here that even led to this. And just, I don't know, guys, pray for these children. The sheriff's office did release a list of items they are collecting for these children. They are collecting donations for the 3 children. The 12-year-old girl's clothes size is size 12, size 6.5 shoe. 13-year-old girl's is size 14 with size 7 shoe, and the boy is in medium men's clothing with size 9 shoes. And if you are in the local area, you can drop that off at 1200 North Telegraph, 38 East, or at the Pontiac substation just off of Wide Tract. So we're going to do a live stream on this later on today, guys. Like I said, subscribe if you're not already so you can get that notification whenever I go live. Thanks, you guys, for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.